Portland balled. C.J. McCollum, 29 points. Obviously not the best night for Nurkic. We all know why. But, Max, was this game more about the Trailblazers or the Cavs, in your humble opinion?
It's about the Cavs. The Cavs stink. They can't beat good teams. Now, I'll leave the Blazers to you, Stephen A., but we know that they're pretty good, and they'll be a tough out for someone in the Western Conference. But the Cavs were thought to be after the trades. I thought, wow, they just, they beat up the Celtics and then beat up the Thunder, won comfortably right after the trades. They're energized. They have guys LeBron can play with. But it turns out that, in fact, these guys are what they've always been, which is nice athletic rotation pieces. There's not a single other all-star on the team, save Kevin Love, who's not playing at the moment, and not even any other bona fide, that guy is definitely a starter on a championship team. Listen to these teams. Here are the only teams since the break that the Cavs have beaten that they haven't already also lost to. So, in other words, they beat the Nuggets, but they also lost to the Nuggets. The only team they've beaten that they haven't also lost to since the break, the Nets, the Pistons, and the Suns. Notice a common theme there? They're no good. Here are the teams that they've lost to. The Cavs have lost to the Clippers, Lakers, and Sixers. All pretty good. None great, but hey, those teams can play. They're 500-ish type teams. And the Cavs have only played those teams and lost to all of them. And then when they've played the good teams, the Spurs and the Blazers, obviously they've lost. They can't beat good teams. Here was another chance to compete, maybe beat a good team. They couldn't do it. The Cavs, as I've been saying, are much closer to the roster that LeBron dragged kicking and screaming to the finals in 07 than any roster he's been on since.
I think once they figure out things defensively, Cleveland will be fine. That's why I walk away from this game thinking about the Portland Trail Blazers. I said months ago, and I'll say it again, if Damian Lillard ain't a star, you better ask somebody. This is a bad brother. This brother is something special. He's averaging over 26 a game. He's shooting better than 44% from the field, better than 37% from three-point range. By the way, hasn't even attempted as many shots as C.J. McCollum this year. C.J.'s averaging 21 a game. He's doing his thing as well. Nurkic is the only other guy on the squad averaging in double digits in points. So it really comes down to a guard-oriented game, which is the NBA game of basketball at this particular juncture, being led by two guards and mainly a guy in Damian Lillard. Just because somebody else is greater don't mean he ain't great. Just because somebody else is a superstar doesn't mean he's not one. Put Damian Lillard on a few teams and watch what would happen. What if LeBron had Damian Lillard right now? What if the Wizards had Damian Lillard right now? What if Kyrie had Damian Lillard with him in Boston right now? What if Russell Westbrook has somebody like a Damian Lillard? This is a bad brother. He's special.
Why do you keep giving him the point guards?
Well, listen, I'm just saying. All I'm saying is it doesn't matter what's the point guard, whatever. Because I consider Damian Lillard a guard. He can play point. He can play off guard because he's going to put the ball in the rack when it counts. This is what he is. He's a Mr. Big Shot kind of dude. Dame time, Dame time. This is what he does. So when you look at their winning streak in the Western Conference, I'm thinking about the fact that they're one of the top 5 defenses in the game. I'm thinking about the guard-oriented play that exists in today's NBA. The fact that this team is led by 2 guards. Your boy Neil O'Shea has done an outstanding job. Terry Stotts has done a great job coaching this team. But these dudes right here, led by Damian Lillard, this team will keep you in a game. And once you're in a game, I'll ask this question for you, Max, and I'll give it to you. Can you name how many guys, rather? Can you name?
I already tell you no.
Who literally strikes fear in your heart when the game is tight? It comes down to the last couple of minutes, and I'm sorry, you got to worry about the ball in this brother's hands. Damian Lillard is one of those elite dudes in the NBA.
You know what?
He is special. And Portland, if they keep games tight, who knows what they could do? That's what I walked away from this game thinking.
No. You know what? Damian Lillard's #1 on that list, Stephen A. If I'm the opposing fan, the last guy in the entire league I want to see with the ball in his hand at the end of a game is Damian Lillard. He has a special quality, particularly in those moments. And by the way, if Nurkic would be consistent, that team could also really maybe do something. But I want to get back to the Cavs because the reason I think they're the story of the game is we know what Portland's going to do. We know what the upper limits of what they can achieve in the Western Conference is, which is to be a tough out for Houston and or Golden State, right? Like that's it, or Golden State. They're a tough out for one of those teams. They ain't beating one of those teams unless there's some catastrophic injury, knock wood, that doesn't happen on one of those other teams. But the Cavs still have plenty of people, including you, who make them the favorites to come out of the East. And they can't beat a good team. They haven't been able to do it since the All-Star break at all.
Stephen A., I want to get into something else because we also saw LeBron, Ty Lue going at it on the bench during the third quarter. What did you make of them getting loud?
Not worried about it at all. They had a difference of opinion, and I actually liked it because, listen, LeBron James is a basketball savant. He knows what he's talking about. Might have irritated TyRonn Lue there, no question about it. And it's good that TyRonn Lue stood up for himself and was going back and forth with him, because you don't want to give the impression that you could be punked. And I don't see a punk in TyRonn Lue. Not the TyRonn Lue I know. Not to say that you don't stand down a couple of times when the king is yelling at you. But in the same breath, sometimes you're going to raise up. And that's what I saw from TyRonn Lue last night. But again, you have to listen and take heed when LeBron James is talking about what should be done on the basketball court, because he knows the game. As great as he is as a talent, he actually knows the game of basketball. He could easily be a coach because he's a coach on the floor already. And that's why you have to pay attention to what he's saying. But I don't have any problem with it. These are the things that you got to go through when you're trying to win championships. It's no big deal to me.
I think it is a big deal. I don't think this is like Julius Randle and Isaiah Thomas going at it and Luke Walton afterwards saying, I like that passion. At this stage of a team's development, I understand that. In the case of the Cavs, they're bickering because it's a bad team, and this is what happens on bad teams. At least it's a bad team right now. And I saw this on Twitter somewhere, I think it was this morning, LeBron James yelling at his assistant coach. I mean, really, that's the dynamic on that team, let's face it. And that's one of the problems with the Cavs. I'm not suggesting that they should do anything different. I think Dan Gilbert's a terrible team owner. However, in this case of this organization, would I give LeBron everything he wants? Yes, I would. Because he's the whole shooting match. When he's not there, they're the worst team in basketball. When he's there, they're among the best until now. But the reason it's not as successful, say, a place like Miami, is because Pat Riley runs the show. The reason I think LeBron would do extremely well in San Antonio is because Popovich runs the show. To get the very most out of LeBron, he should be in an organization with a strong leader on top. And failing that, you give him what he wants, because that's the next best option. But it is, as Stephen A., as I say, suboptimal, and I think this is an example of that. LeBron James knows he's in charge, and that's better than putting someone else in that organization in charge, but not as good as if you have a Pat Riley or a Greg Popovich or a strong leader at the top of the organization.
He also knows he's getting better like fine wine, averaging a triple-double since the break.
And everybody also knows this will probably be TyRonn Lue's last year in Cleveland.
All right. On that note, still to come, people have been very disrespectful towards Bill Belichick and the Patriots during free agency. I'll tell you why. Everybody needs to chill out in my final take. And Floyd Mayweather says he's about to start training again, but not for the boxing ring. Yeah, you heard it. We'll explain after the break.